I don't usually reply to the negative comments, but one of the comments made on the video I dropped yesterday about a bunch of things people do wrong when they're starting out being their own producer and they're recording their own stuff. All right. Mostly people use too many tracks, they add too many layers, they're doing too much stuff to try to make what they're doing great rather than focus on really what they're trying to accomplish and just get that done in a way that makes sense. Cohesive. All stuff on the same track that belongs on the same track. Lead vocal, all on the same track. Don't give me 6 tracks different with lead vocal all over the place. All right? And if you got a supporting vocal, same tracks. Things like that. Here we go. Ready? This guy wrote, "Can't imagine why someone would want to be an audio maid. Do you honestly like mixing other people's music? You're doing work for someone who's going nowhere." Let me talk about what I think about this comment, all right? First of all, let's answer him. You ready? Do you honestly like mixing other people's music? Yes. Do you mean, do I like getting paid to be creative and impart what I do on a mix, which is totally different than what everyone else will do? See, I'm fascinated by the permutations, the possibilities, how many different things can happen when I sit down to mix compared to when someone else does. It's going to be totally different. And I get to basically craft what they've done and make myself sort of a part of it in the mix. And if I'm doing it right, at the end, I give them something that they listen to and they just say, wow, this is amazing. And they know that they couldn't have gotten it there. So there's this teamwork going on. And that's something that's irreplaceable, that in my opinion, it's like this, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know if you guys, like, you know, if you've never mixed for other people, because that sounds like someone who's saying this, you honestly like mixing other people's music, you probably haven't done it ever. And what I would say is it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun because you basically get to be totally creative. I mean, it's not mathematical. It's nothing that has to do with anything like where you have to be within any box at all. It's so creative. I love doing it. And also, you know, I can't understand why anyone would want to be an audio maid. The first thing he said, I called it that, audio maid. It's actually CLA called it that, and I just remembered what he said because it's the perfect term for somebody who's cleaning up tracks, which usually happens before you mix. You know, even on tracks that are, you know, pro level recorded, you may have to clean some stuff up. But generally, self-recorded stuff with people who don't really know what they're doing, you have to clean more up. So the answer to that is, it's not the fun part of doing this. But that's something that I am totally good with because I know how the world works. And I'm not sure this person does. Because anybody who knows how the world works knows the one who works harder, the one who puts in their dues more, you put in your time, that's somebody who may be entitled to getting someplace. Whereas if you're the type of person who only does the fun stuff, good luck getting anywhere. Good luck. Because in my opinion, it doesn't work that way. The people who make it are the ones who try harder and do more work when they don't want to every single day, no matter if they love it or not. There's always days you don't want to do it. There's always moments that you wish you were doing something else. There's hard parts to every single job, even the best ones. I know how the world works. If you don't know how the world works, you may think you can pick and choose how you want to spend your time. But what I know is I'm lucky to be getting paid to do what I love to do, which is work on music. And because I'm lucky, I put in my dues. And I also know that everybody doesn't start knowing everything. I once didn't know shit. And a lot of people go through life, sometimes they don't know what they should know until someone takes the time to tell them. And I understand that completely. So what I do is I don't take something that's maybe a lot more work than another thing and say, hey man, I can't work on this, sorry. I actually just put in the work. Or if it's way too much, I may say, you got to do some of this and then I'll do the rest. But the point is, I'm going to let them know what they did wrong and I'm going to help because I understand what that's like. You got to be taught Someone had to tell me things. Someone had to tell me stuff like, hey, man, just tips along the way. You know, you should, when you're doing your mic in the kick drum, you should do a kick in and a kick out mic. It'll help you a lot with, you know, getting that body you want, and also the clicky sound of the beater. It's a helpful tip. I had to be taught all sorts of stuff. That's just like one thing. Do you know how many things I was taught? You know what I'm saying? So the point is, someone's got to teach people. So why would I look at anybody who doesn't know things and say, no, I'm not willing to work with you? That's not how it works. Like I said, you put in your dues. This happens on all levels. I watched this amazing interview where CLA talked about how wrapping cables is something everybody knows who runs their own studio, because they were at one time coming up. And how many times did they have to set up mics and break them down and wrap the cables and get set up for the next day? And how many, like, you don't have any idea how many times you wrap cables. Nobody wants to wrap cables, but it's part of the job. So you do it. That's why it's like nobody's above wrapping cables. You just got to wrap cables sometimes. So it's like every part of every business has something that's not good. You might as well get used to this now. And the other part of this comment that I wanted to mention is this part at the end. You're doing work for someone who's going nowhere. The only thing that's for certain about this whole comment is the fact that anybody who has the mindset of you thinking you can predict who's going somewhere or not based on what they know now doesn't understand the world either. And anybody with a negative mindset like that, that's the opposite of what kind of mindset you have to make it. So I read something like that, I kind of feel a little bad for this person, because I know if they're putting that out there, if they're trying to say that there's other people out there who don't know things that are going nowhere, I know this person's beating themselves up. So it's sad to me, because in order to kick hate out to the world, you first kick it to yourself. You first beat yourself up on a daily basis. You first got to say, I'm going nowhere. You got to tell yourself that over and over, and then you start to believe it. Why would anybody want to do that? Stop doing that. This person's got to stop doing that, and if you're doing that, you got to stop doing that, because in the same way that you could tell yourself you ain't going nowhere, you could also tell yourself, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it because I'm going to work harder than everybody else. When everybody else wants to take time off, I'm not gonna. When everybody else decides not to work on stuff because it takes too much cleanup and too much audio made nonsense, I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to put in my dues to be able to say, I deserve to make it. Not somebody who thinks I deserve to make it because I'm so great, I'm going to get lucky. A lot of people out there think that way, and those are the people who got no shot, because that's somebody who's actually positive, thinking they're going to get lucky. But lucky is ridiculous. Lucky is not actually you taking control of your own life and your own journey, your own destiny. Lucky is you sitting on your butt waiting to get lucky. And I know a lot of talented people that do that, and they look around thinking other people aren't going to make it. Just like that mosquito flying around, that's the person who doesn't understand that luck is nonsense. You need luck, we all do, but you put in the work to justify getting lucky. You give the opportunity a door to knock on by showing up every day when nobody else does. All right? You don't stand a chance if you're this buzzing mosquito flying around people who are trying to work and get things done. You don't stand a chance. And it's the exact same thing. Doesn't matter if you're a mosquito or a person, because there's people out there like me who are trying to get things done. And if you're kicking any sort of stuff out there about you ain't going to make it, I know you're telling yourself that, and you got no shot. So I want you to know, the person, whoever said that, or anybody who's thinking this way themselves, you have the choice. You could either beat yourself into a hole by saying things like that, because your brain will start to believe you, or you can actually pull yourself out of that hole by saying you can and you will do everything in order to get where you have to go. And this matters most when you don't want to do it. That's when it matters most. When you're in the mood and you're all psyched and you're looking to do it, you just remember that when you're doing the stuff you don't want to do. You use those good moments as fuel for the bad moments. But don't be under any illusions. There will be moments you don't want to be working, even in a field you want to do stuff. Who cares? I don't care. I do it anyway. That's the point, because I know I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing. You guys can get there. I know you can. Let me know what you think about it. Leave a comment in there. I really love to hear what you guys got to say. Like I said, I don't typically respond to the negative ones, but I thought I could turn this one positive, and I hope I did. So subscribe if you haven't already. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Don't be that mosquito. Take it easy.